Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your June 2019 general reading. We're looking at the first half of June from the 1st to the 15th. Welcome to everyone who's joined us here today, and welcome to any newcomers, first-timers, and welcome back to any subscribers and followers. Thank you to those of you who take the time to tune in and send in all of your support, feedback, and comments. It's always appreciated and always read. And a big thank you to all of my clients out there, both regular and new, for keeping me so busily and joyfully occupied with personal readings. And as many of you who follow me know, if you are interested in setting up a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description link below, or going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button there. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I can usually respond to your initial request with more info in the same day or within the first 24 hours. And scheduling the actual readings is pretty timely as well. I do readings full-time, 6 days a week. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with everyone's schedule to get them readings as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, send me an email. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. Okay, let's get right into this reading. This is for the Earth sign of Capricorn for the first half of June 2019. Remember that general readings always resonate a little differently for everyone, so if you know your rising sign, moon sign, Venus sign, watch those as well. They can be helpful in providing additional clarification. Okay, Capricorn, first half of June. Let's see what it holds for you. Okay, we begin with the Page of Swords, followed by the Nine of Wands. Next to that, we have the Sun, followed by the Two of Pentacles. And from the bottom of the deck, representing, you have two, representing overall energy, focus, and guidance for the first half of June. We have two. We have the Three of Pentacles and the World. For your overall energy. That makes perfect sense looking at the rest of these cards. Okay, Capricorn, it looks like you guys are pretty close to wrapping something up or pretty close to completing something that you've been working on, perhaps with another person or with other people. For some of you, I'm getting a strong teacher, or I mean student or teacher vibe to this, and that might make sense since we're looking at the first half of June. And for some of you, this may be school or a school year or a course of instruction coming to an end, whether you're the student or the teacher or some combination of both. For some of you, it's going to be you're seeing the end, or you're coming to the end of wrapping a project up. It could be maybe something at work or an artistic or creative endeavor. But it's with other people, at least one other person, or perhaps a small group of people. You're coming to the close of that, because the overall energy for the first half of June is the Three of Pentacles with the World. So World is completion, major completion, which is a strong implication that whatever is coming to an end or whatever is winding down was probably pretty long, pretty involved, or a pretty big and important sort of deal, because the World is the last major arcana card in the tarot. We begin, the first major arcana card in the tarot is the Fool. He's getting ready to start off on his journey. He hasn't taken the first step. He's very excited to go. He has the 0 at the top of his card. And then all of the cards after the Fool are about the Fool's journey through life, which is our journey through life, and how we learn, change, grow, and evolve and learn through success, failure, trial and error, you know, life, until we get to the very end where we get to the top of that particularly challenging, significant mountain. And we are standing at the top of this world now, having completed all of that. And we are looking forward at a bright new vista, a bright new horizon, new landscape, different opportunities, different potential. So that's what clarifies your overall energy, which is the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles, Pentacles is governed by the element of earth. Often tangible, concrete things, money, finance, property, resource, project, assets, etc. Things we can see and touch and feel, or the work that we put into making our lives feel secure. If you could wrap up kind of the definition of earth energy and pentacles, it's about everything that's involved in the stability and security of the actual structure of our life. So the Three of Pentacles is a card of teamwork, collaboration, working with another people, but often a small group of people on accomplishing something. Now, everybody might not even like each other, but they're all there for one common purpose. They're united by one goal, one common purpose. So it's about everybody kind of coming together, offering their ideas, their skills, their talents, and coming to a common agreement. Yes, we agree that this has to be done and this is how we're going to do it, and then proceeding on building that. It's still early on in the path. It's a 3, and 10s would represent a cycle achievement or coming full circle. So it represents that you haven't reached your big goal yet, but you're working on manifesting that big goal. So you're seeing small things beginning to pay off on the way to achieving something greater. Now, for some of you, this might be that there are still some miles to go before you reach the final goal. You may have just completed a rather significant and maybe even the hardest part of this. But I feel like if not the entire goal or the entire project or whatever it is that's coming to a close, I feel like a pretty big chunk of it is pretty close to completion, like the end is in sight. And again, for some of you, I feel like there's a student and or a teacher vibe here too, getting to the end of a course of learning. For some of you, this might be the school year, whether you're on one side of that fence or the other, student, teacher, or something of that sort, learning something new. I think maybe for some of you, because this is a 3 of Pentacles with the World, it may be that one of the important steps that you need to do, or one of the important goals that you need to meet in order to accomplish the bigger goal, is in fact coming to a close here. It could be perhaps for some of you who are in college, or you're wanting to achieve something higher or bigger or better in work or career or finance. You needed to maybe perhaps complete a course of education or get some extra training or skills or certification to do that. We have now the Page of Swords and the 9 of Wands. Here's that energy. Pages can represent young people or children. For some of you, it might be revolving around that, or if you're a teacher or a student, revolving around a variety of them. Swords is air energy. This is mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. All of the pages represent young, youthful energy, just starting out, kind of a student apprenticeship. And since Swords is a very cerebral, mental, intellectual energy, it's all about our belief systems and ideas and perceptions, because that shapes the way that we look at the world, people in the world, and communicate our own words and ideas. Swords can also be about truth, learning, illumination, clarity, higher education, everything that goes on up in our heads. So the Page of Swords can represent somebody who is just beginning to learn. He's at the beginning of a path of learning, of intellectual learning. Sometimes swords can represent the area of ethics and morals too, and sometimes the Page of Swords can represent somebody who is in the middle of an ethical or moral dilemma and is trying to figure out what the right thing is to do, and can he do it. Perhaps everything around him or her are doing something different. Sometimes this can represent, you know, being in a moral or ethical dilemma and feeling like you're the only one that, you know, feels the need to speak up about it. And for some of you, this might be the case in a particular group that you may be working with, or a job or work situation. You may be in the middle of a situation where perhaps you're seeing some things going on that aren't quite right, and you're struggling with, you know, being the only one to stand up and say something about it or do something about it as well. Regardless of which one of these specifics resonate for you, because it's a general reading, so they always play out a little differently for everybody watching, because you're all different and have different lives. It's coming to a close. You're reaching the tail end of it, or at least a very important part of it is coming to a close. And you just have to push through this last little bit, because the Page of Swords is accompanied and clarified by the 9 of Wands. Now, the 9 of Wands is that push through card. It can represent maybe feeling discouraged, depressed. Maybe you've run into a last minute obstacle that you weren't expecting to come, and you just want to be done with whatever it is. Remember that 10s represent cycle completion, or something coming full circle, whether you're leaving it behind or it's transitioning in a different direction. So this soldier who's fought a lot of battles already, this is sometimes called the Wounded Warrior card, he's tired, he wants to be done. He thought he was done or getting close to being done, and all of a sudden he's run into yet one more obstacle, and he's withdrawn for a bit. There's a sense sometimes of feeling overwhelmed, tired, discouraged, depressed. How do I get through this obstacle? Am I going to get through this obstacle? Are there any more obstacles? I'm so tired. I feel like giving up. Should I give up? But it's the push through card. I almost always feel like this is the 11th hour card. It's darkest before dawn. You're so close to wrapping something up. The soldier is, he can't tell that it is, he is, because it's, you know, the end is right around the corner. The end of this particular part of the cycle is right around the corner. You just can't see it because it's right around the corner. So it's about pushing through this last final bit in order to bring achievement to what I feel is, I'm kind of feeling like for now for most of you, or many of you, there's some major goal that you're working towards, some bigger thing. And in order to accomplish that, you have to meet all these small goals on the way to that. It's in pieces, and you have to accomplish each piece before moving on to the next one. So there's a pretty important one that is you're wrapping up. And again, particularly thinking of the time of the year, for some of you it's going to be student, teacher, university, school, etc. Some of you it may be a project at work. For a few of you in a bit of a different situation, the message I'm getting, or the story I'm getting, is that you are working within a group of people, whether it's at your actual job, or you know, it's a project of some other kind that involves other people. And you've been wondering or struggling with a decision as to whether or not you should stand up and speak your mind about something, particularly if it's something you see that's wrong or not right and you feel compelled to speak up about it, but maybe you're struggling with it. You may not feel like you have the ability or the right to speak up about it, is what I'm getting, because you may not feel like you're quite on the same level as these other people you're around somehow. That's kind of what I'm feeling as well. I'm not getting a strong sense of do it or don't do it, but a little bit more pressure from maybe just hold your tongue for the time being, because you're close to wrapping up this portion of it where you're not going to have to be working with or around these people anymore. So next to that, we have the Sun and the Two of Pentacles, which I love seeing. The Sun, in my opinion, is the most powerfully positive card in the tarot deck. And it's the most powerful in its ability to influence all the other cards in a spread, because just like the literal sun, when the sun comes out, it shines over everything. It affects everything. It brings illumination and clarity where perhaps previously there were none. It automatically, as the sun always does after nighttime, it automatically uplifts, loosens up, or even releases restrictive energies or heaviness or depression. There's a strong sense of sometimes social energy. It can represent laughing, good times, going away on vacation, you know, just everything being uplifted because the sun is coming out and shining and illuminating everything, which is probably needed, because there is something that's wrapping up to a close, and getting through, slogging through this last little bit of it is kind of like, remember this Nine of Wands. I just want to be done. You are almost done. You just got to push through this last little bit, and then the sun comes out and everything kind of uplifts your mood, the heaviness, any workload that you may have been experiencing, or even negativity or depression you may have been experiencing too. And that sun is accompanied and clarified by the Two of Pentacles. So here we have a choice coming up. For some of you, for those of you who are ending a course of learning, instruction, or school, or getting ready, you know, taking a break at the summer break before you go into another one, you will be at the point probably around mid-June or so where you're in a position to make some decisions about what you're going to do, perhaps with the degree you just earned, or the certification you just got, or perhaps you're choosing classes for your next year, trying to refine your path on which way you're going to go in your learning in the next school year, for those of you who are in the midst of university. Some of you, it may be, okay, now what do I do with everything I just learned? Or now what am I going to do with this project that I just finished up? whatever it is that's wrapping up, there's a strong sense of relief and pressure uplifting around the middle of June or so after this is done. And it puts you in a position of making a decision now on what to do, perhaps what to do with what you've just built or completed, what you're going to do with it, or how you're going to take it further. So I'm going to pull a final advice or guidance card from Spirit. Got about 3 or 4 different storylines going on here. Any advice for how best to navigate the first half of June for Capricorn? The High Priestess. Great advice. The High Priestess is about trusting your intuition, which some people call their gut instinct, some people call it their higher self. I just call it intuition. Intuition is the conduit, the cable, if you will, through which you get messages, flashes of inspiration which seem to come out of nowhere, you know, ideas that muse, dreams that repeat themselves. And I say repeating dreams, pay attention to your dreams, but pay attention to repeating dreams. Dreams are often, you know, insubstantial. We often can't remember a lot of them, or we may dwell on one that we have, but it never repeats. If you have dreams that repeat or themes that repeat, that's when you need to pay attention to them, because it's God's Spirit, your angels and guides, trying to give you some guidance or some direction and some help or some comfort as well. So pay attention to that. But intuition is the conduit through which you get these messages or guidance or advice or comfort and help. So pay attention to that. And it also implies for those of you who are going to be in a position of, you know, this Two of Pentacles, needing to make a choice or make decisions on what you're going to do now that you've completed whatever this is, either taking it further or what you do with it or where you go next. The High Priestess would imply that you have some idea about what it is or some thoughts about it that just kind of keep turning around and around in your head. So pay attention to them. And if you're not, then open yourself up to that and they will come. So Capricorn, that pretty much wraps up your June 2019 general reading, the first half of June. We will get together again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings and take a look at the second half. Again, for those of you who are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading, you can click on the description link below for more info, contact details. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I do love and romance, relationship compatibility charting, career, work, and finance, investment readings. I offer gift readings, and I do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life and all the main areas over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So there's a few things to mull over in choosing if you are so interested. So I look forward to hearing from those of you who reach out. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the June 2019 mid-month readings, where we'll take a look at the second half of June. And until then, Capricorn, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.